Welcome back, students. Here is a quick um, tutorial for creating a radial grid. So something that radiates from the center. So I'm starting with a fixed point and creating some diagonals that run through that. And then we're going to go through and do our transfer after this. So I'm kind of trying to go quickly and get all those different angles. I think I'm only going to do about 8 lines first, and then we'll decide to add some more maybe a little bit later after we start to use the compass to draw the circles around this central point. So here we go. We're going to put in some more. Looks like I decided to go with quite a few more. Here we go. I'm going to start with really close inside, and I'm just spinning that compass around and making it slightly bigger each time. This is going to be a pixel portrait, so we're trying to get more information in the center, closer to the face. I am probably going to add a couple more at the end now that I've completely finished laying this out. But there is my radial grid right there. Pretty easy to do. Put a couple extra lines in some of the areas that are a little bit wider and farther out from the center. So now I need to shade this whole back with charcoal or graphite. Show you a little quick bit of that, maybe not sped up quite so much. And once I have that shaded there, I can draw on the front and transfer this portrait down to paper. So I'm just going to line it up, make sure that I have about the center so that it still fits. And then I'm going to go through and start to trace. So I'm trying to find all the shapes. If you look at, the nose, which I'm starting at, I'm looking at the highlight. I'm looking at the middle tone grays. I'm looking at the dark nostrils. I'm looking at all the different parts so that I can go in and create a drawing for each one of those or a little shape. It's just going to help me down the road so I know where the zones of value are. That's really what this project ends up being, is really identifying the different zones that you have as you go through and trace things out. So let's speed this up a little bit and move to a faster version of this. Here we're just continuing to do the same thing, going from one eye to the forehead, from the mouth over to the outside of the head, around the edges. You really want to take your time and make sure you don't miss anything. That is why I took it and lifted it up to check in between every so often. That's important so that you don't lose something that you are trying to see or remember to draw in. I'm using a ballpoint pen here. It has a harder tip as opposed to a pencil, and I can press a little bit harder as I go through to make this. So I'm finishing up with the eye. Let's kind of check it. Looks good. So if I'm happy with it, then what I usually do is either with a colored pencil or with this pen, I'm going to go back through and trace my drawing, because with all these radial lines and all this crisscross all over things, sometimes it gets a little bit difficult to not smudge and erase and lose some of your drawing that you have made. So that's why I'm trying to create this drawing really quick and, kind of fix it by tracing on top of it and getting the new ink drawing on top. I know I won't lose this as I start to paint on top of it. So those parts are all there. And we'll keep going. We're going to speed this up in a second. Kind of got that right eye and the nose started. Then we'll switch over to speed drawing. Just going to finish this up, tracing the whole portrait. All the lines that I traced, now I'm just filling it in with ballpoint pen These ballpoint pens are oil-based, so they don't react with the water. They're not going to disappear on me. They're not going to smudge once they dry. So that's the best reason for using this. A color pencil will also work well for this. I do not recommend tracing with graphite pencil. That will smudge and it won't really work. So we'll see you in class.